Dress the part, act the part, be the part. That is the life philosophy of tonight's Newsmaker.
And his parts over the last few years have been filled with many ups and downs. 4 years ago this month, he took a big dive after transforming downtown Greensboro. And tonight, for the first time on television since his indictment, guilty plea, and punishment, Joey Medaloni is talking about what happened and how he's working to rebuild his life and reputation. On the other side of the sign, off Shallowford Road in western Forsyth County, across the more than 20 acres of open spaces, wooded areas, and gravel roads, near the walking trails, beside gently blowing fall leaves, and in this wooden barn-looking structure with a tin roof, a transformation's happening.
This will be our 2012 Merlot. It's actually not sweet. This is a true rosé, which is actually dried. And especially with Spanish food or any type of Mediterranean food, brings out flavors. So we specialized in our Chardonnay and our red blend.
Joey Medaloni has turned over a new leaf, or maybe we should say vine. In this tasting room, customers can sample the 13 different types of wine he makes at his winery, which is about a year old.
We try to take our 10 years in hospitality and blend it with making the best wine.
Medaloni knows hospitality.
Hey ladies, how was your dinner?
8.5 years ago, when I featured him in a Newsmaker segment, people were calling him Mr. Nightlife, the mayor of downtown Greensboro.
I think downtown is a fast-moving wheel.
He was at the top of his game running the Inn Club, which he opened in the late 1990s, and his several other newer downtown clubs and restaurants with names like Much and Red Room. How safe is it down here?
I think it is 3 times safer than going to the mall.
Then in 2007, citing burnouts, he sold all the clubs and restaurants and paid off a loan he had gotten in 2005 to help open 2 of them.
And it was time for me to kind of step away for a while to see where it would go.
So he started working as, among other things, a charter boat captain in Florida. But then in November of 2010, a federal grand jury indicted him on charges of submitting falsified tax returns to get that 2005 loan. As part of a deal with prosecutors, he pled guilty to 2 of 5 counts. What you did to get that loan, was it immaturity? Was it desperation? Was it bad advice from someone? Was it all of the above?
Technically, it was all of the above, but at the end of the day, it was my fault. You know, I took a shortcut, and if I could go back, I would never take that shortcut again. I would rather do without and take a shortcut. I made the mistake. It was my fault. I should have never signed that document. I should have just never did it.
Given what happened to you, how did that change your life for the positive? I mean, what's something positive that came out of that?
It made me really, truly understand what love of friends and supporters are. You know, you get premium A grapes when they're 22, 24.
Medaloni was able to convince some of those friends and supporters to become initial investors in his winery based on a love of wine and winemaking he had developed in recent years. Now, after paying his $50,000 fine and serving probation, he's focused on making this a success. Where all do your grapes come from?
Probably about 70% of them come from the west side of the Yadkin Valley, the west side of the river there.
The rest he buys from growers across the country. He says it'll be about 5 years before he'll be able to use the fruit of the vines he's planted on the property.
You can't make it in just farming. You can't make it in just the wine business. You have to have these other attractions to get people to come here to support and buy your product.
So he rents the place for parties and weddings. There are also rental cabins like this one on the property, each designed specifically for couples only. He also hosts his own wine tasting and grape stomping parties.
I'm blending entertainment with the wine business. And I'm hoping that's the one thing that always keeps us separate from anyone else in our area, to keep people always coming back. This is your extended home, and we want you to feel that way.
In addition to the winery, you can find Medaloni's wine at his other business, the Tasting Room Wine Shop and Bar off Chapman Street in Greensboro, at Lowe's food stores and in many restaurants in the Piedmont Triad. Medaloni says he misses downtown Greensboro, but he has no plans to return. He says it's a page he's already turned.